indeed, you see the IIAS also, people who swore by the idea of reform, they also made that comparison. Actually, they called Brahmins Pope. So, so you see that framework has gone into all understanding of Buddhism that is present nowadays. You see, even in China, that was very shielded from Western influences, you still find some of it. You see, in Japan, more. Like you see on Twitter for a long time, I've had this absolutely, farcical debate with a fellow called Zenji, or that's what he calls himself. He claims to be a big representative of some Japan-based organization, which is where he gets the money from. He clearly fools his Japanese sponsors about the state of Buddhism in India. But at any rate, he makes all kinds of claims that are purely modern, that have just nothing to do with ancient Buddhism. And so, you see, for historians, that's the cardinal sin, is to pretend that the past is about the things that concern you in the present. There is a novel called The Go-Between that has as its famous first sentence, the past is a different country. Now, the past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. And so, the concerns in the age of the Buddha were completely different from the concerns of Ambedkar. So to go back to this original Buddhism, that's a very important job. So that's what I try to do, and I hope to, do more fruitful things about it in the rest of my life. At any rate, this anti-Vedic thing that is ascribed to the Buddha is not there at all. You see, he respects the Vedic gods. He tells people to keep on practicing their traditional pilgrimages and festivals and so on. You see, I mean, maybe he talks about the gods as a sort of literary figure of speech, just like Westerners who talk about Hercules and Zeus and so on don't mean it literally, perhaps, but at any rate, he is not in rebellion against them. So, I mean, this whole idea of the Buddha as a rebel is so farcical if you actually read the life of the Buddha. He himself was the pupil successively of two Sankhya teachers. And so Sankhya and also practical yoga, like one of them was known as a leading teacher of pranayama. And so there is a curriculum in Buddhism, and the two last techniques before enlightenment, the two last meditation techniques before enlightenment, are precisely the two techniques he learned from these Sankhya teachers. So you see, the idea of Buddhism as something totally original is just so untrue. Buddha had most of it from earlier teachers. Maybe he went beyond them, and that's normal. That doesn't mean he revolted against them. It is as Friedrich Nietzsche said, you do not honor your teacher by remaining his pupil. He had interiorized whatever he could learn from those two Sankhya teachers, and then he added the new things that he could add to it because he was a master. He had become a master himself. So that's all perfectly normal. And the defining ideas of Buddhism, like about the poisonous impact of desire, you already find in the Upanishads. And as the great Buddhologist Richard Gombrich from Oxford has shown, there are a number of phrases in the Buddha's own sermons that are literally taken from the Upanishads.
Just to answer his question, he asked.
Sir, please, let him.
Sir, this is my